Alright, the basics of For Honor. Now, playing this game can require skill, which could be learned within a few hours, maybe. But parrying, countering specific character moves require a lot of experience. So I'm going to teach you the basics, you know. Now some of these attacks you might need to react within milliseconds, right? Like light attacks. Right? Now, that attack can be parried, but it's really difficult. It's really difficult to do. Alright. Now, you can obviously parry that. When you parry, you're able to follow up with a counter attack. With heavy attacks, you're able to follow up with a light attack. Different characters might be able to do different things, right? But vanguards, most basic characters, are able to follow up with one light attack before the enemy is able to block again. Now, say with a light attack, see if you can get it here. There you go. You'll know you'll get hit a light attack when your enemy staggers back very heavily, and your screen flashes very bright, right? And you'll obviously hear the parry sound effect. And with a light attack parry, you're able to follow up with a heavy attack. As long as it's not an up heavy. With an up heavy, your enemy should be able to block that. So just be wary of that. See? They were able to block it. So if you light attack parry and then hit a side, you should be able to hit them. Now, there's many different attacks, right? X is to dodge on console. Space is probably what you use to dodge on PC. But I'm gonna do console specific right now. Alright. X to dodge. A to dodge. Circle or B does nothing. Square or X guard breaks. And now what this does is it opens your enemy to an attack, so you can either light attack or heavy attack. Alright. Alright. So now, you can, with guard breaks, you can also throw them within any given position. So, you can guard break, and then use your joystick and square within that same fluid motion to throw them against walls, off cliffs, into spikes, into fire. Right? Into a teammate even, sometimes that works. Now, zone attack, yep. Zone attacks, they waste half of your stamina, right? Here. But you can kill a lot of enemy troops in Dominion modes. You can kill a lot of enemy troops surrounding you in one faint strike. And if you're getting hit by 2 players at once, that's also good for spreading them out. 2 or more players. You can also feint your second zone attack. You see, to feint while you're doing a heavy attack or a zone attack, hit circle. Now that's obviously great for, you know, tricking the enemy, right? I mean, you want them reading your every move, right? So feint, and then you can go into a light attack, you know, etc., etc. Each character has a different move. Some might not have dodge attacks, but Kensei does, right? Kensei has a dodge attack. You can go left, you can go right. You can go back, you can go forward. You can combo up, as you can see on the top right. You can also go boom, boom, and then heavy attack. When your character lights up white, it's called hyper armor. And hyper armor, what it does is, if I get attacked while that move is playing through, I won't stop my attack. Now say I just hit R1, right? But they hit me, so it stops me from hitting them. It staggers me. Now of course you can get guard broken. You can counter a guard break if they. Here's an example. Yeah, you can counter that with square. Now I didn't do it, but there you go. As you can see, I countered guard break by hitting square as soon as they guard breaked me, which is very vital because guard breaks can be used in many different ways that can affect you. There is here. Let me get a heavy attack. These things called deflects. Now some characters, most characters have different moves for their deflects. So let's get a side attack here. Okay, I didn't get it right. But all it is just dodging into an enemy's attack right as it hits you. Right, just like that. Now, Kensei can't really do much with that, right? But he can obviously get a free hit through it. Which could be very essential in a fight, especially if you can hit it. Obviously you can parry, keep that. What's less important now, as I'll show you, are executions. Now you can get executions, you can get effects. Executions are a lot more important than any other cosmetic because the longer it is, the more it heals you, right? But the shorter it is, the less likely you'll get ganked or, in simpler terms, get double teamed or hit by another enemy player other than the one you're killing, right? You can have a total of 4 different executions, but the way to activate an execution is to kill an enemy with a heavy attack. This is my second execution. My effects are pretty loud, but you can see if I had health on, I would have healed. Here, I'll give you an example. Heavy attacks. If you kill an enemy with a heavy attack, you will heal. Look at that. My health bar and my stamina are at full. Now, stamina. I haven't referenced that yet. Stamina. With every attack, you will lose stamina. Blocked attacks take more stamina, right? So you gotta make sure you hit your strikes if you don't want to run out of stamina so fast. Managing stamina is very important. Now, against a player, you obviously wouldn't be able to do that because they can counter right after a heavy attack parry. So you just keep in mind you cannot guard break someone after a parry. You cannot guard attack. You can't guard attack someone after a parry. If you want to try it, you can. You definitely can. But a real player wouldn't fall for it. Obviously, there's a range with weapons. Some characters may be able to hit farther than others, right? You can often see me backing up while in actual combat, as to use my range to its full potential, because I have a katana, and katanas are very long weapons. Don't forget about feints as well. Being overly aggressive isn't the best way to go, depending on the character you're facing and the character you're playing as. Now, each character has their own moveset, with their own abilities. Wouldn't really call it an ability, right? They have their own executions. Now, if if you hold an execution button, you'll unlock your third and fourth execution. So that was my third execution. Feints also cost stamina. Some glitches, you know. Alright. Now, if you played a different character, say Conqueror, short for Conk is short for Conqueror, you will be able to do full block. And also unblockables. That's what I call them, unblockables. Could be the same thing in game. But essentially, unblockables is literally what it is. You can't block it, you can parry it, you can dodge it depending on the attack that's coming at you. If it is light blue, you know, it shows up blue, you can't dodge it, right? But you can block it and parry it. Unless it is also orange, which means it's unblockable. So, this, as you can see, is unblockable. If I set the bot to parry, they could definitely do that, right? This is also unblockable. They come in many different forms, right? Some of them deal damage, some of them don't, right? Now, if I get my opponent to attack me, right? I can completely block them and go for a counterattack. The only issue with this is that if an opponent guard breaks me while I'm in this, I cannot do anything against it, right? And it also wastes stamina while blocking. So I can't just do it infinitely. But if they do end up hitting it, I can counterattack. Which is obviously very useful. And of course, different executions, all effects are universal, which basically means they can be used on every character, but executions are different with every character because they have different weapons. And they're just different characters in general. You can unlock characters that you don't own with gold or copper, whatever it's called, silver, yeah, silver, right? Now, certain characters also have this thing called a vortex, or an infinite, right? Now, what that does is, as you can see on the right, conscript's attrition. It says R1 or R2. So I can continue doing this infinitely as long as they don't parry me or hit me in any way, right? Which is really great. Of course, with this character specifically, this is the only character that cannot feint. They cannot feint. Right? So if I try and feint with Conk, you can't. It's kind of hard to demonstrate it, but you can't feint. You can also not dodge while you're in an attack. You can attack after a dodge, but not during an attack. Hitting square while dodging also does different effects with different characters. It's like Warden, which is the character I'm fighting. If she dodges back and holds square, she can do a shoulder bash. Depending on how long she charges it, she can either do a heavy attack or a light attack. The more she charges it, the more the enemy staggers, which allows her to heavy attack, right? Very fun. I can see a lot of people playing this character. There's emotes as well. Let me just quickly get rid of this. Alright, there's emotes as well. Right? If you move while emoting, you can spam it. If you hold its triangle to do this, or Y, right? Button prompts are R1 to light attack, or right bumper, R2 to heavy attack or right trigger. Guard break I've said, dodging I've said, that should be everything. Of course, to block it's the joystick. You can also stop attacks with guard break. If they have hyper armor, be wary. You cannot do this against them. You cannot shoulder bash. You can't stop them at all. No matter what you do, you cannot stop hyper armor. So if they glow up white right before an attack, then you've got to dodge it or parry it, or block it, depending on if it's an unblockable move or not. Now they can also feint those moves, so be wary of that. You may find that OP, but it can be countered. Everything can be, just not as easy as others. Each character does their own bit of damage, right? So assassins, their light attacks and attacks in general are faster generally, but they do less damage. Assassins can also make opponents bleed.